All right, Sam. So you're gonna give your sister here, Jessie, the background on this stuff you found and an update as to what just happened today.
Yes, I will be doing that. So, Jesse, as me and Phoebe were walking, and my dad were walking through Chino Lake's Island campground, doing trash patrol, Phoebe just happened to stumble upon a blue bottle. And we looked at it when we got back, and it was bromo seltzer, really bad foam cap, torn apart, ripped apart, soaked, and weathered because its true color was coming off very quickly. So I put my hand in there to grab this piece of paper out, and it felt like tissue or toilet paper. And so I'm like, nah, it's probably just a tissue. That's what I told them. When my dad took his tweezers and pulled it out, it was all crumpled up, like somebody crumpled it up and stuffed it in the bottle. Well, when we got back to camp, we were able to look at it better, and it had these words that I thought were Spanish, and it looked like Africa when you look at it like this, but a lake when you look at it like this. Like, well, why is an upside down picture looking like Africa is doing in Alaska?
And what about that circle? You thought that circle looked weird.
Yeah, I'm wondering about this circle. Well, I just happened to look at it deeper, and it had a triangle with a circle in the middle, and we talked about that in the first video. And then a day later, when I was researching this, I found an arrow pointing to a glacier, sort of like thing, and with a lake, and it said, and I told you this, it was in between Icy Bay and Yakutat Bay, there was a glacier, and it definitely shows a bay or something, and somewhat a glacier, and it had an arrow pointing towards it, so that was a little bit overriding. So, and we remember how I told you it was we find the treasure of Artravida, the Golden Man. Well, turns out that we got that wrong, and now we find the treasure of Artravada. The man sleeps.
Because when we looked at it, we saw there was a word D-O-R, but when we scanned it with
it was a D-O-M.
D-O-R-M, like dorm, I don't know. And then the translator changed it to the man sleeps.
So I emailed my Aunt Rose because she works at Rare Book Vault.
The Polar Archives.
Something like that.
The Polar Archives with the Rare Book Vault.
So then I emailed her, and then when she got here a couple days later, she found a fragment just like it. Except, remember how last time I showed you the HH on it? This one has an OD.
On the backside.
Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that this says right here, it's the end of the sentence, it says Justa Pensin de Nostris. Well, it says right here, it says...
What does it translate to?
It still has the same word, like the Artravida. Pensin still has that same word.
Mm-hmm.
And Justa from Justa, I don't know. Oh, they're the same. And then there's 2 exclamation marks, and then 3 of us. And it says right here, we find the Artravada, the man sleeps. Well, it does the man sleeps, Justa pension could kind of go together well. I looked at it further, And I just so happened to find that we found this. And it matches up well. It matches up well. It makes like a lake, but there's trees. So I'm thinking, well, what's that got to do with it? Well, I'm thinking, it's kind of it's a wetland with spruce trees, which we have, or evergreens, which are in Alaska. And I'm thinking, well, it says the three of us, and we found 2 of the pieces. So if there's another piece like that out there, then we have found the 3 of us of the pieces. So I thought it was 5 pieces because of the ripness, but now I'm thinking it's a map with a circle of words around it. So I know this is a full sentence, and if I put it together correctly, it can be 3 of us, we find the Archivada. 3 of us, we find the treasure of Archivada. The man sleeps. Well, and then it has to go through. You find the treasure of Archivada. 3 of us find the treasure. We find the treasure of Archivada. The man sleeps. Long pause of the whole rip. And then Husta pension, which is, well, we don't know that part yet, and we will, in the next video, we will find out, and we will see if we can find another scrap.
All right. Where do you think we should look?
Continue the search to the end of the earth.
I think we should still look at in the rare map vault, or it could be part of, or something where they're not really valuable. We should, but the reason that we should look in the rare map vault is because, well, these aren't so rare maps. But if we do find something that makes it really rare, then I don't know what's gonna happen next after that.
We should also check the public library. See if they have anything.
Could. Oh, the public library is run by the borough, and the borough
has a bunch of.
The borough runs Chena Lake.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So they may have found something.
Now, what were you this afternoon? You were going on about the three people,
yes,
and what you had a connection.
The Oak Island. It was part of the Oak Island mystery where it said these 3 friends went on this. They saw these strange green lights on the mainland, so they went ashore. Well, when they got there, they couldn't find the green lights. So what they did then was they found an old oak tree with a pulley over it. So they started in a big circling depression in the ground, so they started digging. They found at 5 feet it started to get to a little softer and harder earth. At 10 feet, they found oak planks. And it's called Oak Island because oak trees don't grow in that part, so.
But they did on that island.
But they did. So we're like, well, what could it be? So they dug 20 feet, and it said that they found 1 treasure chest.
Oh, okay, well, but Sam, we know about the Oak Island story, but why were you going on about there's some kind of... I thought you were joking. Did you really think that there's some connection with up here? Or are you just a big fan of the Oak Island, and then so you're just saying, woohoo, it's the same thing.
3 of us, we find the treasure of Archivada.
Okay.
And it could mean that 3 Spanish sailors were on something, and they were there, and or something, or it could be the three kids to 13 to 15 were on that island and they dug until they found something.
So you think that the same kids from Oak Island came out here to Alaska in 1790 was when that ship?
Yes.
Okay.
Or they sailed to Spain or something.
Well.
Or the Spanish, because it's Spanish, so Spain must have made that map. And it says HH and OD, which are two.
There were also a bunch of Spanish explorers who came early on and were around the Gulf of Alaska. Maybe one of them took a few rivers up, or they traveled inland on foot.
Well, did you tell Jesse about that? What's that word in there? The one that had the capital A?
The Artravada, or the Artravida, some people might like to say it, was one of the two ships that the King Richard III of Spain sent over from Spain to go to Alaska to look for gold and other precious rocks. And like we said in the first one, it was also 100 years before the gold rush. So that might have a little connection.
Yeah.
And it also, two ships headed to Alaska, one named Artravada. They could have went back to Spain with gold. They might have been in a storm and they had to throw boxes off so they could get out of it. And one of those boxes must have been the treasure of the Artravada. And since they might have traveled up a river, then that does explain a lot of things.